that my mic is off, so that's really professional. We are yet again winning. So let's just go over that. Oh yeah, another draft. Dodgeball draft's about to begin. Yeah, I forgot about that. So let's get that transitioned out. So this is welcome to Thunderballs Are Go. This is going to be a weekly-ish review of the Season 7 Dodgeball League. There's a couple of commitments, which mean we're gonna get off slightly slowly, but we're gonna go over the draft kind of very briefly with the teams. A couple of changes for Season 7, and then we're gonna get into a review of Week 1. Al is with me. SilentAl and Hypaspist are gonna do this, and then after. Next week's going to be recorded, and then after that we'll be going through every week live just after the action happens. So welcome everyone, and let's get started, Al. I think we can just briefly touch over the teams. There was we did, but there was On Her Majesty's Secret Outpost, captained by Darth Binkley. He grabbed Juan Carlos, yourself, Lady Stacy 7, the Texan Viselis, and M. Colo. They will see round 1 action. They will be followed in the draft. They were followed by Vorizori, captaining through to a kill, and he picked DG3, Politas C, Raka, Sable A, or Sabella, Acox 89, and Compton P. Foils are forever, Thestral captain, Tatiana, Chasmo, Imam 69, Dusto, Poopdeck, and Dakaran. There was Catchers Galore, captained by Yarboa, with JP Runs Funny, Lux 16, Simply Steph, Jimmy G, Jonna Ann, and Sturrock. There's from Deathworld with Love, who was captained by Zwivix. He picked Guianos, Roland Parr, Agent Sato, Super Grandma, PC Load Letter, aka Ass Clown, and Riska. Lethal is Not Enough, Darklighter, Ride the Yoshi, Marauder Mo, Kamas 2408, The Mystic, MTG Girl, and Artemis. Get that right. Told off for that one already, and it was MTG in real life. Then it was Dodge Another Day, captained by Corey Bear 88. He picked Kincaid, Penguin Army, Markbot 3000, Zim 108, Rip, and Warp Drive. And the final team to see round 1 action is Licensed to Overkill, captained by Alderin. He picked Tuna Slap, Agent C13, Mighty Stig, Bahamut 619, Patriarch 215, and Baggio 10. All the numbers there. Okay, there are a couple of changes for Season 7. One a rules change, which Al's going to take you over very briefly, and there was also a name change, was there not? Ride the Yoshi, having been drafted a rookie, then decided that he'd quite like to change his name. Possibly going for another Rookie of the Year award, Al.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he did this to upset Adam and his legacy stats keeping by changing his name so the stats would reset, or if he was trying to go for a second Rookie of the Year award, or if he just looked at a very good name and Ride the Yoshi and was like, you know what, I can make that worse.
Let's switch it to Bork and Beans. I mean, I'm not even sure what that reference is, but it makes very little sense to me. They can't hear you? Hang on. Desktop background 1. How about now? Can they hear you now?
I don't know. Let's see. Can we get some confirmation?
Otherwise, we're going to have to do all sorts of things.
Oh.
How about now?
Now, can people hear me?
The level of professional, yes, Cranky, the level of professionalism is very high. Okay, It's fixed.
It's fixed.
Hooray.
All
so,
right.
sorry.
Awesome.
Al, you were talking about our name change, Ride the Yoshi.
Oh, Ride the Yoshi. Yeah, so I was saying, I'm not sure if he did it to just upset Adam because of his record keeping, because he keeps legacy records for all the seasons, and he was doing it just to mess with Adam and his records. If he was doing it because he was going for a second Rookie of the Year award because he wanted his Ride the Yoshi, so he's like, oh, I'll try and win it now. Is this? Or if he looked at just a perfectly good name in Ride the Yoshi that everyone liked and was like, you know what? I can ruin that. Let's switch it to Bork and Beans, which is
I mean, I don't even know what Pork and Bean's reference is, to be honest, but
So I believe it references the dog from Duck Hunt in the original Nintendo game.
wow, is that the reference?
That is the reference. It is a pretty deep reference.
I
So apparently he took a beloved Nintendo character that he was named after with Yoshi and was like, people like that character. Let me switch it to one that people either feel indifferent or just downright hate.
or
In
just don't even they don't even know. Like
Yeah.
one of the games that probably only the developers knew that there was even a name for the dog.
Yeah.
But that's not the only preseason change, is there? Because
No.
Darklighter apparently got itchy feet on his logo and switched that around to
Yeah.
something
He
else that's
he
not
looked
even
at that.
dodgeball related.
Yeah, he looked at that logo and was just like, you know what, Adam, I think you can do better, and made him go back to the drawing board and got him a very delightful Princess Bride inspired logo instead.
I was going to say,
So,
which is great, but has
yeah.
nothing to do with Bond or dodgeball.
No, but you know what? It's Billy Crystal. It's Miracle Max. It's
You,
kind of tough to argue with.
you can give him that, can't you?
Yeah, I'll take that any day of the week.
And finally, Al, we've actually got a rules clarification for season 7 regarding race balls. Do you want to just refresh people's memory, because some people I think I know are still unaware of that.
Yeah. So originally the rule was if you won your race, you would get to throw your ball no matter what, even if you got eliminated before you got a chance to throw it. It was sort of a way to make sure everyone at least got the opportunity to play, even if they were a little slow or didn't get a chance to throw their ball right away. This was also came back in a time when we didn't have the rule where uh, once you won your race, you had to stop and wait till everyone won the race before you started throwing. So what happened would be people would, by the time they would win their race, possibly be eliminated because other people had finished their races and were already throwing at them. So it was sort of a feel bad moment for them that, I won my race and I can't do anything with it. So that's why we made that rule. Since then, we changed the rules so you don't start throwing until all the races are done. But people were sort of abusing that rule of, well, I'm just going to hold my race ball then and not throw it until I see something going on, because I know no matter what, I'm always going to get this free throw. So what we decided to do was, if you have a race ball and you get eliminated before you get a chance to throw it, it gets knocked out of your hand and rolls to your opponent. So if you,
Nasty.
it is nasty. So this is to encourage people to play and play with intention and play with a little speed. If you can play enough to play another game where someone is throwing at you, you can play enough and be online enough to throw your race ball.
Yeah. Now, I think the commissioner clarified that the intent is that this rule should never really be applied, because people should just be throwing their balls like pretty quickly after the races are finished.
Exactly. The
And
whole
everything's
point
done.
is to just get people throwing their balls, get balls in the air, not to be just sitting around, fiddling with their balls.
That's to be avoided, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so we've clarified that. We'll take a very brief dip into this week's matches, and I'd encourage any group participation if anyone wants to talk about the games we're talking about. But we're going to start with game 1. We're going to look at License to Overkill, which is captained by Alderin, and that was versus Catchers Galore, who's captained by Yarboa. Then we're going to look at game 2. That Spoils Are Forever, captained by Thestral, versus Lethal Is Not Enough, with Darklighter as captain. Game 3 is going to be Vorazori's Through to a Kill versus Corey Bear's Dodge Another Day. And last but not least is going to be on Her Majesty's Secret Longest Name Outpost Darth Binkley's team, and From Deathworld with Love, which is captained by Zivix. So, Al, game 1, I think the races got off to an exciting start when Alderin claimed to have won by 4 missions to 0, which I think has got to be a dodgeball record, right? No one's ever won by that much.
If there is one thing Alderin loves doing, is setting records and bragging about it. So this did not surprise me at all that he declared that he won 4 missions to 0 instead of the regular 3.
And I think he followed it up then with 2 hits, and then on his hat trick ball, he then went for everybody's favorite dinosaur mom, Simply Steph,
Yeah.
and got caught and eliminated, heralding a dinosaur rampage.
The dinosaur rampage was definitely in full effect. Or as she is sometimes known as the Hive Queen, went on a that just awoken the beast, and she went absolutely nuts in this game.
She really did. However, speaking of a dino rampage, there was a little bit of criticism, perhaps, that Steph had got a bit confused about her balls and had confused them for eggs, and that she was maybe sitting on them for a little too long, thinking they might hatch into beautiful dinosaur babies.
Yeah.
That I think there was at one point, in fact, she had 3, which was quite the collection. Um, and Tuna Slap, I think at the end was so overwhelmed to be the last man standing that he just conceded the victory, as if Frunit 7 himself were taking the wheel.
Nothing like invoking Frank's spirit of concession. But I have to. I know Tuna Slap was criticized for that, but he's a veteran player and he's a veteran dodgeballer, and he knew, not only was the game that he was done, but the match he was in was done. So I think he just decided, let's save everybody some time. Let's just walk away, and good game, and walk out. And I don't think there should be any shame in that.
No, I don't think so. I think when a game has that much BS at the beginning of it, as I believe it was, high levels of nonsense, and when you're a last man standing and you're not Elizabeth against a pretty full team, then the writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, who's your pick for that match then, Al? Who's the SilentAl MVP?
Oh, it's got to be the Hive Queen, the Dino Mom. It's simply Steph. I mean, she won her race. She got 2 hits. She got 2 catches, including that key catch against Aldrin, which really turned the match around. And she was alive. Did not get hit. Was alive at the end of the match. That's MVP caliber right there.
I mean, that's 2 hits, 2 catches is and still alive at the end of the game. It's an absolutely fantastic performance. So definitely putting in a winning performance there. Game 2, Thestral and Darklighter butting heads there. I think we touched on this originally, but I don't think Dusto could find his opponent at the beginning of the game. So he raced off against someone who just kind of rolled onto the court, pork and beans. So that was definitely something that happened.
Yeah, it was a fun surprise for everyone involved.
I think very much, especially being as it hadn't been declared in any way, as far as I could tell. It just like in the background just happened. I think Dusto got another surprise when he and Chasmo went for the perceived easy pickings of rookie Artemis. And I don't think they got any joy in that one.
No,
that was
none whatsoever. He proved to me that's the thing with rookies. They're an unknown, and sometimes we assume they're a lot easier of an out than they really are.
Yeah, and I think Artemis rudely disabusing anyone in that match of that. Although sometimes rookies don't have such a great start to a game either, and the Mystic certainly felt the harsh end of Tatiana's balls as she ruthlessly benched him and put him on cookie duty.
Yeah.
However, Darklighter did pick that match up after everyone's balls were going after Tatiana. She was under pretty heavy assault, and she dodged and she ducked and she weaved, but finally Darklighter got his baller and knocked it down.
He is a tough player and a tough dodgeballer, and I think when he's coming after you with that many throws, it is difficult to eventually he's going to catch up with you.
Yeah, Rick knows how to win.
Yeah. In fact, I think looking at his stats for that game, did he lose a single game at all?
Let me just have a quick peek.
No, he was 7 for 7 in I think games.
Yes, he was. He was
Yeah.
7 for 7.
So
Is he your pick for player of the match though, Al?
uh it's tough not to pick Darklighter, but I think I'm actually going to go with Artemis in this one, only because as a rookie coming in, getting things done, I mean, like I said, it's both of them putting great performances for their team. So I I'm leaning towards Artemis only because I love to root for the rookies. But I Darklighter's right up there too. I'd say if anything, they might share it.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, Darklighter was there with I think 3 hits and a race win. Artemis with 1 hit, 1 catch, and then being as slippery as an eel, hardly being hit. So, well, not being hit, in fact. The only game he lost was his race ball. So, definitely some good performances from both players there. Game 3. This was through to a kill Vorazori versus Dodge Another Day, Corey Bear 88. Now, there was a rookie slap fight at the beginning between Compton P and Penguin Army. This proved to be very much a theme throughout the whole match, as they shared a lively romance throughout the whole match. A couple of things became evident, I think, through that match was that Alex clearly needs to take his team away and practice on racing, as he said in that Facebook thread. Was that's a key component of their training in between week 1 and week 2 would be race winning. But also, he clearly briefed everybody on site that no one was to throw at Corey Bear 88. There was a huge void of no throwing.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I can't disagree with that strategy. Corey Bear is a fearsome opponent. I've had to play him many times, and I don't enjoy it any time I do. So but eventually, that's the thing about that. Eventually, you're gonna have to throw at him if you want to win the game.
You got to do it sometime, yeah. And I think that happened when and this beautiful part of this is that we can always blame Politas. So Chris brought him into the match, got immediately caught, and then Corey Bear harried the opposition until only Raka was left. I think getting a good couple of hits himself. The Compton Penguin romance was a joy to watch. There was balls flying each direction, but just as in the race, Penguin Army did come out on top each time. And I'm afraid Compton's that's going to be maybe a grudge as we go through the seasons and these players come back. Al, that could be something to watch as Compton P could be out for Penguin revenge.
Could be, or I would love to see, maybe next season they end up on the same team and work through their issues and focus it towards someone else.
That's true. That could be a beautiful. That could be a DG3 tuna slap. Beautiful friendship for me.
Exactly.
And Raka was the last man standing. Did get finally taken down, but he did have a pair of pretty lethal zombie balls on him, and he got 2 hits with those. I think his only regret, Al's got to be that he didn't have more balls.
Yeah, if he let me find his stats here real quick, because he had some pretty amazing stats in that game. He was 4 for 4 on throws, 4 hits on 4 throws.
I mean, that's
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that is if his team had won, we'd be talking about how Raka was the MVP of that game, because 4 hits on 4 throws that's gross. That's an amazing stat line right there.
And he was only hit once in 6 throws.
Right. I mean, the man is tough to. I remember when he was on my team a couple seasons ago. The only games we lost were the ones where Raka got hit, and he would only get hit like once.
Yeah, yeah, no, he's a fearsome competitor, but against, I think it was 5 he was facing down. That's a big ask, 5 players.
Yeah,
But who's your pick for that match? Because I know there were a couple of really good performances from both
there was
sides.
like the Raka performance is great. The Corey Bear performance was great, but I'm actually going to talk about a player who we didn't mention in the summary, and that is Zim 108, veteran player who won his race, but then pulled out 3 catches in the game and was alive at the end of the match. I mean, 3 catches. I mean, we talk about 4 hits. 4 hits on 4 throws is great, but 3 catches is in any match. That's excellent. I mean, that's we're looking at the leader for the catch award for this year already, and that was it was I think his overall stat line was 3 catches, a dodge, and a miss.
Yeah, it was 5 balls for sure.
Yeah,
In fact, I think didn't Jen, when Clever Missy won the catch award last season, wasn't it only about 7 to 8 catches that she had all season?
something like that. So Zim's already on his way. We'll see if he can keep it up the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was a really good performance from Zim. And finally, the final game of the round was on Her Majesty's Secret Outpost with Captain Binks versus Deathworld with Love, and that was Captain Zwivik. So you were involved in this game, Al, I believe.
I was involved in this game. Um, it was it's my cap, Darth Binkley, who I'm gonna let you handle
Yeah,
the races.
I was going to say he might be your captain, but he immediately showed the power of Grayskull, or in this case, an Ass Clown,
Yeah,
by losing both his race and his life to PC Loadletter, who was without mercy, throwing
yeah,
straight back at him after he took the ball in the race and
just
eliminating him.
just went after him.
Just, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I'm going to talk about one of my favorite things of the season so far, and that is my teammate M. Colo, who apparently has some trouble tagging opponents. So she has taken up just tagging every dodgeball match.
Oh,
Um, so I'm really hoping at some point that politician just replies to ask or tries to figure out what is going on and what all this is.
yeah, that was definitely a massive highlight of the entire round. Was the wrong Sandra being tagged, and far from it being a grandma
Yeah,
as a politician. Um, I mean, talking about you, Al, we talked about it being your team, but you started out quite strongly, basically bullying the opposition with your balls.
it's what I like to do. I mean I will say I have a throw, not to brag too much, but I do have a throwing championship already under my belt. It is the strongest part of my game, so I like to throw and throw a lot and get lots of hits. And I took out 3 people right away.
And how many events did you get on the last turn of those matches, Al? Just a little bit of foreshadowing here, but the audience are curious.
Um, I don't know. Does it really matter? All that matters is that events love me and they want me to win also.
They do love you quite a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and then Juan Carlos, I think, cleaned that game up, did he not, by taking out Ian
Yeah.
in the final match?
Yes. Because I told him specifically, I said, I'm scared of Ian. You take care of him.
You take care of the brick wall that is Agent Sato.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I think with your numbers, you could have been a contender for your pick of that match, but I think you went with someone else, didn't you, Al?
I did because I feel weird picking myself. So I went with my teammate, the Texan. Um, just because he had a solid match. He won his race. He got 2 hits, still alive at the end of the match, and 100% win percentage. That's tough to argue with a 100% win percentage.
It really is. Like it's you can't lose a match if you never lose a game. So
Never lose. Yeah.
it's definitely right up there. So those were some pretty interesting games. Now my team, the 9-inch Ninja team of Dodger more or less, we had a week off in week 1, which going by the dodgeball practice camp we had was just as well, because I think we learned quite how badly some of Ninja's picks were, and by some I mean me. As I massively failed to impress in our preseason friendly camp. But we'll see how that pans out in week 2.
Yeah, I believe we play each other in week 2, and
no, I think we're playing each other in week 3. Are we not?
oh, is it week 3?
Like now, technically.
Oh, well, now, or like then now?
Oh no, you're right. Week 2 is us.
Yes, because week 2 is us, because I'm on a bye now in week 3.
That's right. Week 2 is us. Yes.
So yes,
that's going to be an
I was like,
interesting.
was it then now, or is it now,
or is it future now? Which one is it?
So
no,
it
that's
was
right.
week 2, which will be future now.
Yeah, which will be the recorded episode that we do. Because I'm in Vancouver next week, so I won't be available to do a live one. So we'll record the week 2 round, and then
hopefully after that we'll be sort of caught up, and we'll be able to do these in a more timely fashion, and we won't have to figure out what then now was versus now versus.
I mean, surely now is always now, unless it was past now, because that was then and this is now.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we got a couple more awards after we get past all of that shenanigans. Yeah. Very two Ronnies like. So we've got an MVP of the round, and we've got a Moneyballer award. So for those of you in the audience who have not watched Moneyball, firstly, shame on you. Secondly, Commissioner Adam does get commission on anyone who watches Moneyball, so you should go and do that, because it is a great movie, and it's actually, as far as dodgeball goes, whilst it's about baseball, it is about kind of similar things with the draft and value and performance. So it's actually really fun. I can hear your Vancouver accent, M. Colo. No, that's not actually a Canadian accent at all. But there we go. So yeah, Moneyball Award. That's going to go to the player whose performance for the round provided the most value compared to their draft position. And then the MVP of the round, that's just going to be overall best performance of the round. So Al, would you like to talk about the MVP?
Sure. The MVP, is anybody surprised by this? That it's...
I don't think anyone. This is this is what we would classify as an S tier performance, right?
Yeah, it was simply Steph. 2 hits, 2 catches, didn't get hit, just completely took over her match. Also got the race win. Yeah, simply Steph. Easy
in.
So right now, she is front runner for MVP of the season.
Yep, 100%. And our Moneyball Award, Al. So like, there are lots of players who have good performances. Right. But this is also about kind of where you were in the pick, what your dodgeball history is. Like, lots of factors go into this one. So, who's the most value of the round?
We have to go with the Artemis. He turned in a great performance. He's a 6th round pick, so definitely, bottom part of the draft. He was an unknown rookie who's already contributing and putting on a good performance. So yeah, I'd say Artemis.
hands down. I would also like to mention Sturrock was also quite highly placed in this one.
Yep.
I think he had quite a good round as well, but Artemis just pipping him there with the value that he brought. So, I mean, that's really all we've got slated to talk about round one. I mean, what are you looking forward to in round two, Al? We've got obviously our match comes up.
I mean, how
Um,
can I not look forward to that match?
I mean, I think you might have more reasons to look forward to that match than me in some ways,
Not
but
to spoil
not
anything.
not not hashtag spoiler alert. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's gonna be a great match. And then let me just scroll, and we'll let the people know who else is coming up in round two. Um, because we've also got Binks and Zwiv facing off. No, that's last round, isn't
That was last week.
it? It was last week. It hasn't refreshed yet, but we'll
No,
get there.
we'll get there.
So you're sitting out round three. Who's sitting out round two? Can you remember?
I don't. I was too busy agonizingly playing your team.
It was Darklight. I was actually on a camping trip, so like my ability to get to my phone and have it working and not losing all the charge was
Yeah.
It was a good job I wasn't that much involved for several reasons. One of them was the speed of play. So I think Captain Yarboa and Captain Thestral are going to clash. We're going to see Corey Bear take on Alderin. We're going to see Zwivix and Vorizori face off on the other side of the court. And then, of course, we're going to see 9-Inch Ninja and Binks facing down in that last match. And Darklight is going to take a pew for week two.
Yeah.
So there's some interesting matchups there, I think.
Interesting matchups. I mean, we'll of course have to watch some storylines unfold. See if Steph can keep up this blistering pace. We'll see if we had some great rookie performances in the first games with Compton P, with Penguin Army, with Artemis, of course, with Sturrock. So see if any other rookies emerge or if those rookies continue to get better. Yeah, and we'll see we'll see what happens. I mean, one game does not make a season, so it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season unfolds.
Absolutely, and I think as one comment I remember reading from one of the games is it's not about how you start, it's how you finish.
That's right.
So we'll look forward to week two. As I said, Thunderballs Are Go will be recorded for that one, so it won't be live, which is a bit of a shame. But then, as we move into the week week three and week four roundup, those will be live, and then they will be weekly, and hopefully on the same day if we can possibly wangle that. So I hope you've enjoyed the brief dive into week one.
I have a question though for our recorded show.
Yes.
If there is some sort of technical mistake that we make, I'm just saying if, because it happens. Do we have to start over or can we just keep going? Because I feel like at this point our audience sort of expects it and looks for it and wants it now.
I mean, usually the technical mistakes that exist between user and keyboard on this end are usually in the transition between muting myself so that you don't hear my kids packing away for Lego, and then unmuting us so that when we go live you can actually hear us. So on the basis that we won't have to worry about that, we can have a couple of dry runs as well, but Canadian wildfires burning behind you. No, that's the rebound report, which I can. Whoops, there you go. Look, it's the rebound report.
It's the lost episodes
It's
that
the lost episodes.
We never got to see.
Luke sent them to me, and this is how I'm using them to keep myself warm in this wonderful summer. But yeah, we could probably flick in the odd rubber duck mistake into our video if it would please the people. I'm sure they'd be delighted.
Very good.
I mean, what I was thinking of doing for now was just switching into some dodgeball game, not dodgeball, some Star Realms games. If you're up for that, Al, hanging around.
I can hang out for a bit.
Yeah,
If people want to hang out, I'm more than happy to hang out and play a few games.
cool.
But we should tell people also, you know, the official Thunderballs Are Go is done for now.
Absolutely, yeah. This is the end of the official Thunderballs Are Go, episode 1. So thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it,
Yeah.
and I'll probably play some Star Realms now until my wife's violin lesson is over, and the kids have finished watching whatever it is they're doing, and then I'll wend my merry way and possibly watch Yesterday. I think is what I've got on the cards for tonight. And I also like to thank Al for coming while he's got strep throat, and he said that his sexy phone voice wasn't quite up to par, but I think he's done marvelously.
Thank you. You can send all letters of appreciation to the Halls Company for their wonderful cough drops and lozenges.
They are marvelous. Okay, well that's it. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. I'll let you know in the dodgeball group when the recording of round 2 goes up, and also when round 3, when the stream for round 3 is live. So, what we're going to do now is add some capture action, and that is this one. Copy and paste, and that wants to go below OBS Ninja, and that will transition into that. And let's shove you down there and me down here, and then you can absolutely have a joy criticizing my play, because let's face it, it deserves it.
It is my joy to criticize you.
It is your joy to criticize. So actually, this is an interesting one. Fish26 has I came across them in a ranked game, and I think I won it. I'm not 100%. No, I think they won it. And then they've just kept re-challenging me. So this is I now have a stalker, I think.
Ooh,
Maybe.
I always call those like if they want one challenge back, I give it that. But once it becomes like a regular challenge, I call them a dangler.
Oh, okay, nice.
Sort of dangling on.
What even am I doing here? Okay, so I've got a couple. Well, 1.5 scrappers. I think it was. What was the player's name? Anyway, they're not really with us much anymore. They changed their name. Steph will know. Don't bother with round 3. Thanks for that, Emily. But that comment was always about having like no more than about 3 scrappers in any given deck, because they start clogging up. And the conditional scrappers, like this chap, Patrol Mech, you would count them as half a scrapper in that calculation. So anyway, I'm satisfied with my scrap, and otherwise we're just, I think, going here for pure damage. He's got a scrapper as well, a couple scrappers, and he's going for some face damage. I'm going to take a coalition messenger just so that we get the allying we've got going on with either our trade escort or our patrol mech, and we'll go. We've still not used their gambits, so we'll see how that works out. We're probably picking up Merc Battlecruise there on our next turn. Forgotten what patrol mech looked like. It's a totally different image in your head. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what you thought it was then, Artemis, because that's not one that has changed. Al, has it?
The patrol mech?
Yeah, I don't think it's had like a. It hasn't had any promo art or anything like that. It's just always been.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So this game is a Grandma challenge. She's got Convoy Bot, which is just one of my favorite cards in Colony Wars.
Oh yeah.
and she's sitting on Newburgh while I'm sitting on McCready. Um, this I always feel is somewhat of a difficult matchup for McCready.
I think it is a difficult matchup for McCready because McCready just wants to punch you in the face as fast as you can and then go home. And Newberg will take that punch and be like, "Sorry, I'm busy healing over here.
Yeah.
Keep punching me."
Well, and
It's
also
sort of like
with his pack domination gambit, like he can,
yeah,
like it's almost like a mini peacekeeper in some ways because you've got like diplomatic shuttle that represents an 8-point swing.
yeah.
So it's somewhat of a challenge, but I'm always up for a challenge. Speaking of which, if anyone wants to send challenges in, then feel free to do so.
I think you got a challenge from M. Colo.
Oh, did I now? Well,
Yeah.
let's ditch Elizabeth into the into the skip. Oh, this looks like a prime.
Yeah, that was
This looks like
so.
prime
Let me see that.
nonsense.
Oh, see, this is M sent me a challenge in this format earlier today, also, and um, she's been wrecking a lot of people with it.
Ah, this should be interesting though. I mean, it's got a lot of things I like. It's got double events. I like that. It's got
Yeah.
promos, which is rewards trade heavy decks, certainly early on, and I really like that. So we don't want to do any of those things.
Oh, you got a
Let's get rid of that.
challenge from Tuna Slap too.
I know, I see that.
Oh,
So
things are going to
now
get ugly.
I want velocity with. Now it's Yokum, isn't it? I always call him Jochum, which apparently is wrong.
That is very wrong.
Yeah.
But I would love to see Nathan's face when you called him that. So I say continue.
And we've got endurance format with the tuna challenge, so that should be good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just I always thought it was a hard J and a soft CH, but that was wrong. We're going to go. So this is generally what I don't know why these are all mandatory. There we go. I know I could just quick start, but I tend to just.
Well, I found that the quick start now doesn't do everything question mark.
No, because the last time I had a missions game when I actually had everything question marked was a very long time ago, and I'm wondering if that's because if you have commanders selected, it kind of
Yes. So if you have commanders selected, it immediately removes both gambits and missions.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because they found commanders were not meant to be played with missions or with gambits because they come with their own gambits.
And it's too rude.
And yeah, so as a quick start, they immediately, if you get commanders, it immediately X's those out. So quick start isn't just everything optional anymore.
Oh, I see what happened here. Hang on, I think my camera is struggling because I changed it to a what's it called? A virtual capture device, and we want XSplit so that I could hide my messy house behind the VCam. That should work. Let me take out the. Oh, you know what? I don't know if this is gonna. Let me just very quickly XSplit background. Copy that. And paste it in. Nope. Okay, it's fine. It's just a bit weird. I'll get rid of that. Delete. Clearly, I need to do more work on that. I just look a bit shadowy. I thought including the match player mandatory special. So it's now Artemis. It's got to be probably about 50 ranked games I've played. I would say, with everything selected as question mark, and I have yet to have a missions game included in that. Nico of Death, a challenge from them. All right, so we got vanilla, stellar allies, bases, and fleets. Enjoying that. What's M got for me? Okay, so lots of events. Oh my goodness, all of the events. Haha! What do you think about this, Al?
I'm watching them all pop up, and it just brings me so much joy.
So Emily's flipped her deck. Let's get rid of that.
I am surprised she didn't try and snag that alpha.
I am as well. She's gone for the swarming point and trade. Now, the thing with promos is because we're playing with promos here, aren't we? Yeah.
Mhm.
The thing with promos is that they do reward because of the fact you've got Colossus and then 4 of the 8 trade ships in there. It does reward a slightly more trade heavy strategy, I think.
It does. However, Frontiers, I think, rewards a very aggro, fast game.
Yes.
So it's interesting to sort of watch that balance between the two. My strategy, oh, well, look at that. Just alpha right into
Alpha in the
play.
face straight off the bat. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna take that. And then to be honest, I'm probably gonna get rid of that.
I'm surprised you played those 2 Vipers before buying something else in case, another event came up. Like
I'm living dangerously, and quite frankly, I'm not a fan of missions. That's fair enough. We're living dangerously here, Al.
Yeah.
And I never declared that I am a super good player because I very much go through like sometimes I'm playing really well and then the next game I'll play like a spoon. Tuna, you have gone super greedy.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That man is saving up for something that isn't even on the board yet.
Yep. And I think those don't belong on my deck anymore, quite frankly.
All means.
I don't think I can let him have patrol boat though.
No.
Oh,
I mean,
goodness.
He's got 3 heroes to help him out anyway, just in case. But yeah,
I'm just hoping that
you just gotta hope that
he's got that Viper in his hand.
Viper, so he doesn't take money.
He hasn't. Oh, Tuna. That is quite distressing.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, we're gonna take Repair Mech there, and I don't really want to put that on top.
See, I would take either Special Ops Director first to see if anything else exciting flipped, or take CEO Shaner and see if I could put something to the top of the deck. But
yeah, I'm not sure I really like Shaner in that position with the heroes and the bases there as well. But now that we're gonna lick our wounds, let's see what Spock Rocks has got for us. That's been having some good games against Spock Rocks. We've got a 4. You've gone for Blob Miner, which is a great selection. It's pure Frontiers. I'm going damage. MLR. See, in Emily's position, would you have taken Sentinel there instead of Burrower?
Yeah, probably because I have the green base. Also, I just really like Sentinel, even without its docking mechanism. However, I can understand the Burrower pull because
it's good.
It's such a good card.
Well, it allows you to jink out of something and grab a different card if
Yeah.
you're not that fussed on it as well.
Exactly. And you know what? I think I like Burrower so much, I sometimes hesitate a little too much on the scrap ability.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to give it up.
It in.
Yeah, when I should be catching it in.
Yeah. No, I agree. Of course, that's happened, so that base is going to be out there forever.
It's nice that RN Jesus is punishing you for getting Blob Alpha first, so now you're never going to see it again.
My heinous plays. So we're on a 6 next turn. Well, that's not strictly true. See here, I'm super tempted by Chairman Hagen just to proc that blue, and because
Why aren't it? My first pick would be Cargo Launch, just to see
what flips.
Just to see what flips.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that as well. This feels like no good picks, honestly.
Really? Because I love Breeding Site, like every day.
It is good. It's not doing a whole lot for me, but then if Tuna gets it, it's staying
I was going to say,
forever.
if Tuna gets it, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And if you get it, suddenly Command Center and Stellar Reef look like a lot more exciting buys.
That's true.
Plus, you already have that mech that can keep cycling it back to the top of your deck.
I do, at the expense of being able to buy anything else that's useful, though.
Yeah.
We got our eye on Junkyard next turn, though, so I know a lot of people don't like a Junkyard, but I quite like it as a butt that'll sit out there and just scrap you out.
It does. I think just in vanilla alone, it got overshadowed by some of its, bigger brothers with Brain World and Machine Base. But I think in an all format, it really sort of came into its own a little.
Absolutely. And so now Emily's branching out into blue. She's actually repping everything. I do quite like Plague Pod. And I think that's what we buy first. Yeah. You don't have a red base, do you, Emily? I've been in a position where I got both repair mechs before someone else has, and it's not good. But I think Temple Guardian for the damage. I hated on Junkyard for a long time, but I've come to appreciate it. Yeah, I think so too, Nico. It's yes, it's not the best. It's not the best base that does what it does, but it's 5 soak, and it'll scrap from anywhere, which nowadays is not to be underappreciated. It goes with my plasma vent, and I think what's your next hand? See, I don't know if I want to stick. I don't think I want to stick it to the top, because if Tuna then grabs his bounty hunter or his crusher,
yeah, then it's
not staying out, and I might get it in my top hand anyway. So
yeah, anymore with the with that gambit, I have a tough time using it. One, when it's coming to a fresh shuffle, but also if I like getting a draw card, I like being able to put it up and then immediately draw it.
And immediately get the value from the big bomb
right.
purchased. Yeah. No, I agree.
If I don't get a draw card, I sit on it probably way too long.
So Emily has bought another base, and I don't think we can leave Swarming Point out anymore. I tell you what, one thing that Commanders has really helped me reassess is that sometimes, especially if you're on an aggressive strategy, going for face ahead of some non-outpost bases is often the right thing to do, and it's something I did quite a bit you were in the Commanders Mirror tournament that Paul Solomon, or Salomon I should say, organized, were you not?
Yes, I was in that.
So that was especially in the McCready versus McCready matchup. I found it was almost always correct to go face when you could, even if that meant sheathing some damage.
McCready is all about just punching you in the face as fast and as quickly as you can and getting out of that game. You don't want a game to last 20 turns with
Oh no,
McCready.
no, absolutely not.
So you will soak up damage yourself just to be able to hit them a little bit harder.
Yeah, and I think I know people say McCready's kind of autopilot route one. He is route one, like he does want to go face, but I think with McCready punishes the smaller decisions much more harshly than any other command deck.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I don't think necessarily he's not a challenge to know what your strategy is. Like some of the
Mhm.
others might be a bit more flexible, and you
Yeah.
have like Newberg's an example, much more of a in Magic the Gathering you'd call him a mid-range deck. Like he can go over the aggressive decks and he can go under the control decks.
Right.
So you've
Um,
got to make value judgments with Newberg. With McCready, you don't. You have to go face, but how you go about that is which cards you buy become a lot more important. Because
I
the
think
mistakes punish you much more harshly. I feel.
right. I think the other thing with McCready is yes, your sort of margin for error is very thin. It's gonna be sort of close games with him, but and the overall strategy is everybody knows what you're doing. If you're playing McCready, everybody knows what you're doing. So the
Yeah,
challenge is just try and stop me.
I
Uh,
should.
but the individual decisions can get just as difficult as if you're playing like Nandi or something like that.
Yes. I should actually put up. Um, I had I had a game in Rick's Commander tournament, and it was my Lee versus his. What was he playing? I think it was it Nandi, but it was just an absolute nightmare, and it's counter buying against McCready is why I was thinking of it. Counter buying against McCready can be not difficult, but like if you take all the aggression, you might be hurting your kind of game plan more than his, because
Yeah.
he can still get there. It's just about can you count to the number of your authority. Um, but he took all of the discard and all the scrap from Lee, and it was just horrible. And then he had Stealth Tower and Reclamation Station, and he
Ugh.
got them both in the same turn and slapped me for 50, and it was
Ugh,
just awful. Like it was just
that's
absolutely awful.
that's
It was
gross.
all of the worst things. I am gonna take Death World here,
Yeah.
and
I
we're
feel like
gonna
Death World is a very underrated base.
and we're gonna top it,
Oh,
because we want some of this action. See, the downside of this is that I'm not getting
because
the
you're going to draw them all in
factorations.
one hand.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah.
But there's
Oh, I know
the
that game. Don't
yeah, there's
I
there's
play
the
that game all the
opportunity
time?
to start scrapping out and drawing. Now against Emily, I bought Repairman because I didn't want to be completely bereft of trade. But I see that she took Nexus, and things are probably going to go down here from here on in. That said, I'm going to take the other repair mech,
Really?
because yeah, yeah,
Okay.
we need to get some scrap going on, and we need the trade. I
Do you?
don't.
She's at 21 already.
I know that was a bad play. Let's move on.
There's a beautiful stinger right there.
Oh, I know, I know. This is what I was saying about being a bad player. Okay, Grandma, we're gonna buy some things and then flip this nonsense because we want access to all of that juicy juice. Um, do I
Mm.
do I want the frigate? That's the
The
question.
only reason to buy the frigate is to keep it away from her.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm more tempted by either Oracle or Plasma Bot.
the trouble is with both of those, more so with the Oracle, is that I've really got to ally it to get any damage out
Right.
of it.
But with Plasma Bot, it comes with
Three
free
damage,
damage,
which is about a starter's worth.
and you always can scrap a card if you want because it's from your hand.
That's true.
Oh, look at that. And then you get reward with a Unity Fighter.
We do. And then we flip the deck.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to do that and get lucky that we didn't get Plasma Bot. And hit hard. And then we're going to scrap 2 next turn. Yeah. I like that.
Nice.
I could use a silent element here mockingly criticizing my play. I don't think, Simon, that you need anyone mocking your play in your ear. I think you do quite well. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
As our last endurance game would pay homage to, in fact. Although, if I remember rightly, you messaged me afterwards after I said GG that you were thinking about pushing it a little bit. And I think if you had, you'd have been rewarded. Because I don't think my next hand was anywhere near good enough to put you in a position where you would have been too worried. So there, see, this is the only trouble. Right now, we're not scrapping anything because the only thing we've got to do is the repair mech, and we want to keep that.
Do we?
I think so.
Okay.
It's my only real trade card outside of cargo launch.
Yeah.
And it's gonna put bases on top.
Gonna pop that hero to keep yourself in the game?
He's got 9 next turn. We're gonna see that again.
Okay.
We don't need to pop that just yet. And I don't want an explorer. There we go. That hand is going to be pants though. Watch me. You know what, Al? Watch me bottom that now. Watch me bottom that patrol boat and lose.
And just be holding on to that, because I've done that before where I'm like, I'll just one more hand, I'll find a blue card and then I can pop that hero and everything will be fine, and then it isn't.
Isn't it interesting though that like that assessment of when the next, like how many decks the game is going to last is such an important one, and that was a great example of like, are we going to get through that next deck or not? Oh, look at this! See,
look at this! She's at 8.
That had been a stinger.
Oh, look at that repair mech that could have been a stinger.
Repair mech that couldn't. Fantastic. We got, yeah, okay. Spoilers: Hypaspist wins his race against Saberlay in week 3. That was funny though. You ask Ashton about that. I had some absolutely horrific mistakes in that game. I did not deserve to win it by a long stretch. I'm going to take the defense system out. I don't want him having it.
Wait, how much potential? Okay.
Sorry, what were you going to ask?
I was looking to see if she was capable of buying Nanobots 1, because the one thing I've noticed in Commander games is because of the larger hand, it suddenly those 8-cost cards are not nearly as unreachable as they used to be right away in the game.
Absolutely, and she does have the potential if she draws all a trade.
Yeah.
But it's got to be Orbital Shuttle as well. We'll see.
Because that's the thing is, I got so much in the habit of just counting, all right, what is their best 5-card hand? And then I'm like, oops, that's not how this works anymore.
Yep, very much so, especially with Yoakum. He's an
absolute, yeah.
Just such a Swiss Army knife of a commander.
Oh, look. Breeding Site can come back. Or not.
Or not, as the case may be. Well, we may as well start scrapping everything. And see, I think now my best chance might be scrap down to a base wall.
Okay.
Just because. But then the Blob Destroyer is something that he'd be very interested in that case.
I was gonna say that Blob Destroyer, if you don't take it, he will, and your base wall means nothing.
Yeah, you're right. Gina's given me a few lessons recently anyway, so we're gonna live to get the patrol boat and an ops director action going for sure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I don't know, that Hagen has been out there a really long time. For the amount of blue that both of you have in your decks.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really need the Hagen. I suppose
No.
that's why he's been leaving it, because he's got Bounty Hunter and all sorts of nonsense. Spark Rocks. This was the ranked game, wasn't it? You've gone for that. You know what?
Are you going to buy Repair Mech again?
No, we're definitely not buying Repair Mech here. I think we're going, because we've got, this is just straight Frontiers.
Yeah.
I can't turn down a Crusher here.
No, I was going to say, if you say anything other than Crusher, I'm turning this off and I'm just going to go to bed.
It's all over. Mkolo challenged me to another game. Does that mean... Oh, she thinks she's dying. Is she dying? I don't think she's dying.
Oh, no, she's not dying.
No. I mean, we're probably never seeing anything that we buy. So the question is, what's
So
worse?
the question is, how good do you feel about having a Hammerhead in your discard? I mean, there are events in this game, so you could, if you wanted to go fishing,
That's true.
start buying like the Frontier Runner or something like that. Oh, look at that. You know what would look beautiful in that hand right now is a Stinger.
It really would have. It really would have, and yet we must... It still wouldn't have done the job on its own, though.
No, that's true.
Oh, see, there we go. The Hagen's gone finally. And we are... Oof. Now... I mean, obviously, we're popping this before anything else happens so that we don't forget.
Yeah.
I think we need to... I mean, Missile Bot's the only thing we can buy.
Well, I mean, technically, you could hate buy the Warning Beacon.
I could. He's not... yeah.
But I would go Missile Bot.
Yeah, I don't think he wants the bacon right now. I think it's for him to hate buy the bacon from me, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what comes. And before we get into Grandma's game, we'll just accept Emily's challenge, which is the same again. This turn is really gonna hurt. In fact, 9, 15, 21. She could have lethal. She draws all the things.
I want that last card that she plays that gets lethal to be
Stinger.
To be Stinger. Which would be just even more delicious that it's called Stinger, because that's also the name of those little clips at the end of movies, like after the credits, are called Stingers.
Right, so it would be apropos on several levels.
Yes. that would be the Nick Fury of her deck.
100%. Okay, what have we got going on here with MLR? Ooh, so, Pact Warship, I always find incredibly difficult to turn down in any game I play.
Oh yeah.
Why did I play all? Oof. Okay. So this could end up being Emily's Pact Warship. Because there's probably no way I'm buying that card.
Oh, you mean the assimilator?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
No, so the trick now is to not buy anything good,
fill your
so
deck
she
with
won't want to
hands.
assimilate it.
Yeah, Super Grandma's done that to me several times. She's just bought absolute garbage, and then, oh, I don't think I want to put that to the top.
All right, buying machine. You gonna top deck Death World, or are you gonna go after Battle Blob?
I think we gotta have Battle Blob. I think we need damage.
You need damage, but
Ooh, see, this sucks. Because now if I buy,
you gonna take that
Bacon.
warning bacon?
Well, I don't really want bacon.
Okay.
And I should be able to clear out what he puts out.
Okay.
Yeah, we're fine. She did draw the stinger, but she did not punish me for my absolute. Now, a lot of people, and this is where I try to play as well as I can. I don't obviously always, as we've discussed, but this is where kind of the overkill discussion comes in, right? Because you could just slap down the Blob Alpha and kill, but
right, that's boring.
Well,
We're here
boring.
for
It's boring,
we're here for
and we
people
always
to
want
watch.
to do as much damage as possible. But also,
Yeah.
it like the less I make less mistakes when I play every hand properly.
Right.
Or at least I try to.
This is true. I mean, the other thing is, sometimes you want to play out your hand. I, at least in real time, even if I've got it, I like to show them every card in my hand.
Yeah, I'll play all in real time. I won't go buying stuff and all that jazz.
Now, if the person has played extremely slow in real time, then what I will do is I will play out my entire hand. Then I will go make a sandwich, come back, and then deal the damage.
Oh, you are terrible.
I am.
So this is always something I struggle with here, because buying the Explorer on the off chance that I can get the Assimilator increases my chance of Assimilator, but it also increases my chance of bottom decking the good stuff. Where do you stand on this one, Al? I'm going to do it, but...
So I would, in this case, I would buy the Explorer. It seems like with every base set that comes out, Explorer seems to be a little bit worse. Like, I think Explorer is very underrated in vanilla, but by the time you get to Frontiers, it just feels like a really bad card. However, that doesn't mean you shouldn't ever buy it with Frontiers. I think with a first deck like that, why not? Oh, look, we got Nanobot Swarm. No, that was still 2 turns ago. You're fine. Okay.
Yeah. I think that one comes with 1 and 2. That one comes with 1 or 2. Let's get rid of that one.
Why not just get rid of the Viper?
Told you, we are not playing very well today.
I mean, I know you love your original card designs and don't appreciate the new ones that
is where we're at with that.
Some of us got, so maybe you want to keep it around, but
yeah, no, that was bad. That was a colossal error. And yes, Emily, Canada has ruined me, and I my grammatical mistakes were less, not fewer. Hang on. Let's buy the Lyle.
Yeah, you're gonna buy the Lyle, and then you're still gonna smash the Alpha.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if
anything better than Alpha came up.
Yeah, I mean, if something better than Alpha comes up, then you're still in a lot of pain there.
Yeah.
Because then he's probably going to get whatever it is that you scrap or don't scrap. Like he gets Alpha or he gets something better because that flips it to rock in a hard place. What have we got going on here? Oh, that's the worst. Well, M's not getting it this time round. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I chastised someone for taking gate ship the other day.
The bait ship.
Yeah, I don't like that card.
No. Well, that's what I think is great, is you have like the 2 6-cost cards I probably dislike the most.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Warpgate Cruiser do decent things, but most of the time,
no,
it's just awful.
Warpgate Cruiser is one of those cards that got better with commanders just because you have more cards in your hand. But
yeah, so you've got more cards that you can pitch to it, and many of the decks have yellow in. What, 3?
Yeah,
3 of the decks have yellow in to begin with. So drawing 2 cards, that's great.
So here's my question: are you married to buying one of those terrible cards?
No.
Or are you gonna
rather have defense
buy like a
system,
good card like
Temple
defense
Guardian.
system?
Yeah.
And see what happens.
M has got some damage. I'll take defense system. And then I think I like the rocket.
Yeah.
I mean, M's gonna flip her deck, so she's gonna get rid of 4 of those stars. But such is life. Oh, and then we've got we couldn't bottom the Viper. We've got another 6. So still fate is still trying to tempt us for the 6 costs there. What's Tuna slapping us about with? Let's do this. I like this. Are we gonna scrap? No, we're fine. We've still got some trade. You can't have that at all. And then we're on 2 scraps and a 6 cost. So I think we're doing all right here.
Yeah.
Although we are at 29, so things could be a bit hairy.
He still has plenty of starters there, though.
He does, but he's also got a lot of healing on board,
Yeah.
so he might be able to whittle me down. Oh, okay. Sandra said GG, but I wasn't sure whether that was the typical, like, ha ha ha, you got me to 2, but it wasn't. So we just play everything out here. No, we want that damage. Good game.
Just whatever you do, don't scrap that Viper. He's come along this far.
Hey, look, I made sure I didn't scrap him before. It's got to be there for
the end. Are you just showing that's how veteran pilots are made?
That's how veteran pilot. He got through there, and he did his job, and now he's got some more experience. He's going to get on that cosmic gambit and ride it to victory.
Yeah.
What's Spock doing? Okay, this is where I think we pick up Patrol Bone. Because it gets, well, yeah, it is. Now, the question becomes, do I cash the Burrower in for the Hatchling?
See, I am more inclined to go for the nesting ground than I am the hatchling this early in the game.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. But this plays into what you were saying earlier by, like, this is a prime opportunity to cash it in. Do you?
This one I'd have a tough time doing it. I think honestly, at this point, I would keep it. I'd be happy with just the boat and move
I mean,
on.
I've got 14 damage on board. Spock's got much less, but some soak.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is the other thing, by taking Burrow out of the game, you are reducing your damage because you're probably
Right.
not allying nesting ground. So your ability
Honestly,
to get rid of Spock's bases is that
right.
much less.
So if he takes nesting ground, then Moonworm Hatchling becomes a lot easier for you to take.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm probably getting 4 next turn.
Yeah. So that's why it's not necessary right now. Now, if a Crusher was out there or another Burrow was out there, easy.
I think if there's another Crusher out there, then
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Crusher's literally one of the best cards in Frontiers. I'm going to stop watching so I can start. Oh no, don't worry about that, Nico. Like, carry on, mate. You carry on watching if you want to carry on watching. I don't really mind. I'm not going to give you a hard time for that. That's the, as you can see, I
That's the wrong. This is the wrong channel for that.
if you're playing someone who you wanted to test yourself against mightily because every mistake counts, you want a clean, honest game with the best, then you go play Corey Bear or Ninja. But
I was gonna say, I think Mega Holland is on right now, and he'll he will happily take your non-cheating ways. However, right now he has me talking into his ear, telling him what terrible decisions he's making.
yeah,
So
absolutely. So
this is not the height of ethics over here.
no, absolutely not. Although bear in mind, I'm barely paying attention to you, which is probably very bad.
That's what I love to hear.
So here I'm thinking of scrapping Cargo Launch with Deathworld, to flip the deck. Probably after, well, maybe not after buying a gunship, but I think I still get the gunship either way if I want it, and if I don't, then if I don't get a junkyard, I can buy it. If I do get a junkyard, I buy a base. But I think I'm interested in seeing this damage in my next hand for sure.
I would, yeah, I'd buy gunship and then scrap Cargo Launch and flip over the deck.
Just so that it's a 5-hand for next turn. Okay. I was gonna see. Watch what happens now. Watch this. We scrap the Cargo Launch. We draw Junkyard. Oh no, we didn't. I was convinced, I tell you, that Junkyard was coming to hand and losing a scrap there. But your way makes more sense.
You have one starter left in your deck and you're worried about losing one more scrap?
I know, especially with some of the decisions made, like
Like at this point, Junkyard is nothing but a butt to get in the way and like trigger your breeding breeding site.
It's true. What game is this? This is Nico. Okay, I think we're taking Ladder World. Oh, hello. You can tell me how much you hate that now.
What, Blob World?
Blob Wheel and
Oh.
Cargo Launch.
No,
I'm just getting used to the smack talk coming through, right?
Oh, is that just assume everything you do is wrong?
I mean, I'm close, right?
Yeah.
I can't turn down a bike. Two explorers would have been fine, but what do we got going on here? Damage. We probably did. No, we didn't do that wrong. That's fine. I am very interested in a Lancer. And I don't. We got Colony Wars in this? We do. I don't really think I need to leave anything there, to be honest. Nothing's coming to hand. I I don't want to scrap that yet because I'm not worried about. Yeah, that's fine. They should be dead next turn. In theory. Oh, Barter World. See, this right here is, if Blob Destroyer hadn't flipped, isn't that a frank concession right there? Like he's got Barter World and there's no damage on the row. You just
Yeah.
concede, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. That hopefully, if we can't get that with all trade to grab something juicy, then maybe we can get these two together and we can at least get rid of it. What's your favorite format, Al? Because you've got a couple that you keep in your back pocket, like heckling and the one that you threw in the last round. Was it?
Yeah. That's tough because I have favorite ones for different things, and I can't say like they're my formats because Cranky will come up with some just wacky stuff, and it'll be like, "Hey, you play a lot. Test this and tell me the results." And I will, and I'll be like, "I really like this." And he's like, "It's okay. You can keep it." I'm like, "Okay, thank you." So I wish I had the mad genius of Adam to come up with some of these. He'll just look at it and be like, "Oh, like I play like word jumble with them," and I'm like, "Oh, we can call it this." I was like, "Ooh, this is heckling," and he's like, "Where does the F go?" And I was like, "Just ignore it. It's heckling."
Just go with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, "Feckling doesn't sound good." So yeah, there's that. But I mean,
Good
I
game,
guess.
Tuna. I had help.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's a good beat. And what's Grandma sending out? The usual.
Is that a catch?
That was definitely a catch.
Nice. But the one that I play like in BGG and stuff like that is the bottom two rows minus mission minus commanders.
The bottom two rows minus mission minus commanders. Okay, yeah. So that's interesting actually, because what used to be bottom row, which was what W to say CKUA, that used to be
Yeah,
where all the sharks hung out, right?
that's what I used to play all the time. And then as they kept adding things, I was like, all right, well, I'll just keep adding them to my format.
What's Nico? Oh, Nico got a nice big bomb. And well, I don't want that parked in front of Barter World, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna hope that's a good time. So that's an easy Citadel if it's still there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I do love me a machine base, but this card's so much better.
Yeah. I mean, it's Citadel.
It doesn't give you a draw, but that extra butt.
I was gonna say with that big of a butt, it doesn't need to draw.
No, that's why Lancer's one of like some cards are just so well self-contained. Like Blob Destroyer is a great example of that. 6 damage gets rid of any base except the Citadel.
Right.
And Lancer is the same. Gets rid of any base because of the extra 2 damage. Those cards just really, really good, because even if they're not fitting in with what you've got going on right now, they can do their job.
Yes.
Well, going by tradition, this is a very easy Federation cruiser, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want that. Oh, there we go. Look at that. 5/5. So we wanna, we're gonna scrap that Explorer. Whatever we buy, try and keep it as close to square as possible. How do you think much about square decks?
Not as much as I should. For the amount that I bottom deck, I really should. But I don't. And I think that's because I gravitate a lot towards one, I play pretty fast, probably faster than I should. But the other thing is because of like draw cards and things like that, I have a tough time keeping track of the square, and I keep track of so many other things that are going on that I really don't. And I know it's something I should, and I know it's probably the weakest part of my game.
So it's a good question then for you. Well, what do you keep track of? What are you keeping track of in a game?
If I'm playing sort of live, then I'm keeping track of what's in my deck, but also what's in my opponent's deck, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're playing live, it is much more difficult than you would
you're on
think.
that time constraint of
Because you're on that time constraint, because you can't tap on someone's deck and immediately look at everything.
Yeah.
So it's I know it doesn't sound like it, but when you're actually in one of those live tournaments, it becomes a lot more difficult than you really think it to be. We get really spoiled in the app.
For sure.
Which is probably why I play so fast in the app, because I play very similarly that I do live, and so I'm not paying attention to nearly as much as I should. But when I'm in an important game and I'm paying attention, I am looking at draw cards. I am looking at scrap advantage. I'm looking at overall damage that can be done in one turn. I don't want to fall behind in. If I'm falling behind in one of those, then I'm trying to sort of pull myself out with one of the others. Um, I don't. I am very much an aggro player, so I don't worry about falling behind in like economy and things like that.
Right.
It is mostly for me. It is mostly scrap, damage, draw.
Yeah. That's probably going to be another flip, I think. I find I don't know if you've spoken to or with Matt about unconscious thought before. I know he's Matt Newberg. I know he's very big on it, but one thing that I found fascinating about my own play is that I often play better when my queue is full and I'm not really like right now where we're sitting, we're talking about my turns a bit. I might put it past you. I'm thinking about what I'm doing, but I'm not stopping and analyzing every single turn. And players like Ninja and Tuna are very good at this, where they're saying, okay, well, one thing I sometimes hardly ever do when I play ranked is what's the format? Okay, what cards are in play?
Right.
What's the likelihood that I flip this or I flip that? Do I want to expose? Do I want to buy this and risk exposing something else?
Yes.
Often, if I'm playing ranked, I will literally just open my games, not even look at the format, and just play.
Right.
And bizarrely, I seem to, could be confirmation bias, but I seem to play better when I'm doing that than when I'm not.
So I've always sort of put it in the terms of there's sort of two kinds of players. There's the very sort of cerebral, analytical player, and then there's the gut player.
Yeah.
And I always said I am a gut player in that I just sort of play by instinct, play by my gut, that gut feeling.
Yeah.
I said, fortunately, I have a pretty big gut, so I have a lot of feelings. So,
Lots of feelings.
yeah. But I think that's you talked about in the draft how I suddenly just got better sort of over quarantine. It was more I played a lot more games over quarantine, and what happens is I played a lot more games, and I sort of subconsciously learn as I play. So the more games I play, the better I get, rather than just sitting down and analyzing each game. I was playing a ton of games. I was making those split decisions and learning from them and getting a little bit better each time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when I play a ton of games, I'm very much a volume player. I play a ton of games. I get better because of that.
Got you. Yeah. So you're using the volume to train
Yeah,
your
to
unconscious
sort
mind,
of
as it were.
train. I call it making good habits,
Yeah.
which I sort of used. I sort of developed that method when I started playing in live matches, because when you're in a live game, like a live paper tournament, you can't make the same sort of decisions and have the same information that you would in the app. And as the day goes on, you get tired and you get fatigued, and you can't always think through all your decisions like you want to.
Absolutely.
So you have to be able to rely on your instincts and having good instincts to be able to sort of help carry you the rest of the way.
Yeah. And I certainly see. I should have done that the other way around. I should have arguably done all the things first and then scrap the Viper out. What have you got coming? Very little, but I don't think I want to risk you getting that. I know I can't get it, and it's hell if you get it. Let's take that. Yeah. I used to infrequently go to Magic the Gathering GPs, and that would be 7 or 8 games in a day. So I definitely hear you on the fatigue side of things, because that's absolutely brutal, especially when you're trying to make day 2, as it were, and that last game is just like you're at your most tired, your most vulnerable,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you're still trying to play well, but
yeah.
it's so much harder.
Well, the one time I really realized it was a thing was at the White Wizard Game Fair. Um, they had tournaments going all through the day. And at one point, there was one tournament, and if you made the top 8, you continued playing. The people that didn't make the top 8, there was a gap sort of in the action. And so what they would do is they went, like a bunch of them went, grabbed food. Some of them went up to their rooms and took a nap, whatever. Then when it was time for that next tournament, those of us that made top 8 performed terribly because we were all super fatigued, super tired from the previous tournament that we had played longer in. The people that went and relaxed and took a nap up in their room or did something else did so much better than us because they were well rested and we were sort of still riding on fumes.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, I read a couple of articles about like how to keep yourself, from flagging, and that I think you touched on almost all of them in the article you wrote. Which, if you guys haven't read, by the way, the 3 of you watching, or 11, I think it's 11 actually. You should. It's on Mega Hauling, and it's just about preparing yourself for a live tournament. And it's making sure that you do take your potty breaks in between the rounds, that you do top up on that water, keep your electrolytes going, that you do the good habits that are going to get you into a position where you're not there like making awful mistakes because your brain is just flagging and dead.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to do. Absolutely so easy to do.
It is. You get caught up in that sort of convention atmosphere.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's easy to sort of forget what you're doing and just get caught up in everything. And before you know it, it's Sunday afternoon and you can't remember your own name, let alone what card you want to buy.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a shame because, like, when you get into those late game, like late in the day, late in the weekend, like if you're in
Yeah.
the game at that stage, that means you're doing well.
Right.
You really want to continue doing well and not lose to something that was avoidable.
Yes. Because what'll happen is weeks later, that's all you'll be thinking about is, why did I make that dumb mistake when I was in that situation? And you'll kick yourself over and over again about it.
Oh yeah, and I think Artemis has just said it's the formula for a lot of reality shows where they push people till they can't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But in those situations, they put themselves in that position, and that is unavoidable because that is the goal of that show. Whereas,
Right.
this is totally avoidable.
Watch
So,
attractive people make bad decisions.
very much like this stream in some ways.
Speaking
Oh wait, no.
no. At least I'm not very attractive. I don't know.
My children are attractive. That's enough for me.
There you go. That's the important part.
That's the key. We're drawing a lot of cards here on Rubarel. What are we doing? All right. And I still don't want that scabby little fighter. Yeah, I think trying to keep it lean is good there. Yeah, I got to level 53. I leveled up and then haven't played in forever. I haven't played any ranked.
This past week, between Dodgeball and then my sister had an engagement party and then getting sick, it was the first time my Q finally went down to 0.
Oh, wow. Now we've just got a game against Corey Bear, who I don't know whether he heard you talking about middle and bottom row together, but he sent it. So let's see. Let's try and play on the top of our game here. Corey has got Grey Market and Exploration. And we have a wealth of choices. I think in this position I quite fancy that Pulverizer, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to try and grab it. And we do. Because there's some good options there. But maybe not so much now with the 2 Vipers in hand. Oh, when did Nico get... See, this is the thing sometimes when you're playing unconscious, like, when did they get that shit? Apparently, they got command ship.
Well, and that's the thing about also playing on stream and talking at the same time. It gets a little... Oh
yeah, this has gone horribly wrong. I guess what could have happened here is... Yeah, Bartle stayed out too long. I think, you know what? Frank might have had a point. Good game, Nico. That is an absolute beating.
I love it. He doesn't even have to play a card right now. He can just deal damage. And
yeah. I mean, I could have...
That's... yeah. No, those are...
It didn't matter. As the Rock says, it did not matter. Let's do
that. It's getting late, and I still am sick. So
yeah, no, you need to get to bed.
I'm just... How much? I was gonna say we did... not to force an ending to this fun evening, but yeah, my throat is starting to get a little rough.
You get yourself in bed and hopefully recover soon. Strep throat's not a fun time.
No, I don't remember it being nearly this terrible when I was a child. So I either have like some really selective memory, or I'm just really old and things hurt even more now.
That's a thing that happens, though, right? I mean,
I guess.
No, it's true. Especially when you're probably not in your 40s yet, but the 40s are a real kicker. Because
you don't think I'm in my 40s yet?
No, I think you're younger than that. But anyway, don't disabuse me of that. Don't disabuse me.
That's very sweet of you to say.
Don't disabuse me. But yeah, you get into your 40s, and then all of a sudden you hurt your neck or your back, and someone asks you what you did, and you're like, oh, I turned left, or
yeah,
I got out of bed.
I hurt my back this year also. Thank you. It was gross. So yes, no, I understand. When you turn 40, your back starts falling apart. I've experienced that. So
I'm going to get rid of some later there. But yeah, have a good, hopefully good recovery tomorrow.
thank you.
And yeah, we'll get together and record week 2. I'll
Sounds
put that
good.
up probably at the end of the week, I would think. 40s. Oh my God, get real. Yes, Sandra. Everyone knows that you're a little older than 40, just a touch, tiny bit. Yeah, and we'll do this again, and then we'll come back for some live dodgeball in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Take care, Al, and I will turn you off so that people can, or rather, you can retire unseen. Did I manage to turn my own camera off? I did. Well done, me. Why's the X split? Ah, it's that one. There we go. We're back. Okay, I'm gonna finish these couple of games, and I think I too am gonna go. So what have we got going on here? We got Corey, I know. And we got some grandma going on. This is gonna be. We're gonna flip the deck here. Oh, you got rid of? That was a bit rude. That was a bit rude, Sandra. Getting rid of Eddie. We'll take the scrap because it's still got damage on it. And yep. Mhm. And now that Al's gone, watch me lose all the games. So, yes, Corey Bear. Okay, so what's Corey got going on? He's got a base and a gunship, which is not wonderful news. He had to die, Bartman. He did have to die. It's true. That would have been a joy to take straight to hand. So Corey. The thing is, if Corey gets rid of his gunship to snag Palace on Nexus, then we're okay. But he's probably only taking bases, so I think Stealth Tower's the right play here. And then hopefully he whiffs and we can pulverize all of the good things. And what have we got from Mothership? Garbage. Yeah, I'm going to take that off you. Do we live? Oh, we're definitely not living now. That's obscene. Okay, we got to the end of our queue. Thanks for joining, everyone, especially if you stayed after the Thunderballs Are Go. And we will see you in, like I said, the recording for week 2 of Thunderballs Are Go, and then in a couple weeks' time, when we're doing week 3 and week 4, we'll be doing live. So more of the same, probably about 45 minutes an hour as it has been this time. Have a lovely evening, and I shall say good night.